Everybody ready? I just need to check one thing out from what he just gave me. Yeah, we'll do those separate. All right, everybody ready? We're going to call the Bay St. Louis City Council meeting to order, September 18th, 2018. I'm going to ask you to stand for prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Now, Father, our eyes are upon you, and our hands are stretched toward you. You're our provision, our hope. You're our everything. You're the very life that we live and the very air that we breathe. And we're asking for your wisdom, your knowledge, and your understanding to be upon this council as we make decisions on behalf of the city and its citizenry. Father, we ask that you would be with our city, and we want to give thanks unto you for how you've blessed us, and you've kept us, and you've prospered our city. We ask and we thank you for all this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, once again, we want to welcome you to our Bay St. Louis City Council meeting, September 18, 2018. And we're going to get started. The mayor have a proclamation for the Garden Club. Y'all come on up.
Don't be scared.
All right, you won't bite Lynn.
Not this side. First off, I'd like to thank y'all for coming and everything y'all do for the cities and the county and everything with beautification and all. We just want to make everybody aware of, of this month and all, beautification and all. So whereas the Garden Club works to study all aspects of gardening, to encourage environmental improvement through civic development, beautification, restoration, and protection of natural resources. And whereas the Bay Waveland Garden Club is celebrating 80 years of service to the communities of Bay St. Louis and Waveland, the members of the Bay Waveland Garden Club has volunteered countless hours of learning and the latest gardening techniques to inform others about the benefits of gardening, as well as spreading numerous special projects to benefit the community. Whereas the goals of the Bay Waveland Garden Club have been met throughout the years with club projects such as International Beach Cleanup, Arbor Day, Spring Pilgrimages, the Bay St. Louis Community Garden, the library tree gala and annual Christmas flowers show, and yard habitats providing food, water, and shelter for wildlife, teaching fire safety and respect for the environment through Smokey the Bear and Woody the Owl poster contest in our local schools. Whereas the Bay Waveland Garden Club work is going with the same enthusiasm as the original founding member, the Bay Waveland Garden Club in 1972 won the National Helen Husey Champlin Award for outstanding services in promotion of gardening among youth. In 2015, the club was voted the best garden club in the Mississippi Spanish Trail District. So now, therefore, I, Mayor Michael J. Fogg, and the Bay St. Louis City Council do hereby proclaim and declare September 27, 2018, Bay Waveland Garden Club Day, honoring the members of the dedicated efforts to beautify our city, to make it even better place to live, work, and visit. Thank y'all.
Would you like to have words on behalf of the Garden Club?
Well, I really didn't prepare a speech, but as president of the Garden Club this year, I would like to thank you for the proclamation and your support over the years. And if there's anything that we can do specifically for the city of Bay St. Louis, please let us know. We have some very energetic members that work very, very hard. We're not the garden club that just sits around and drinks tea.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much. Thank you all. Do you all still get trees?
Yes, it's the Soil and Water Conservation Service that gives out trees around Arbor Day.
Okay.
Spring, but we also have the live oak tree registry. That's for all.
All right. Well, thanks again. Appreciate you all. All right, our next guest is Preston Moffray.
Good evening, members of the council, Mayor Favre. I'm TJ Moffray, and I'm here tonight representing on behalf of Cure Land Company, who is the owner and potential developer of a parcel of property located here in Bay St. Louis on the corner of Main Street and Beach Boulevard, which is the corner opposite the Hancock Bank building. The developer currently has designs and plans to construct, and which are ready to be permitted, to build a 4-story, 59-room hotel on that site with interior corridors, and on the ground floor, 5,500 square feet of commercial retail, restaurant, and/or bar space, which would be subject to a lease, and that's intended to be comprised of 3 separate units. The hotel amenities are slated to include rooms with balconies, a pool, and a bank of elevators, several elevators for accessing the various floors. Parking for the hotel is set to be had at 2 off-site lots that are within walking distance of that location, and we estimate that there'll be about 42 sites. So we do have some plans in the works attempting to get additional parking that would create another, I think what we said, about 16 more sites maybe, so up to about 58 sites total, all in the downtown area. The hotel itself will not offer food or beverage, but again, the spaces on the ground floor, would be providing that type of service, depending on the tenancy. And the hotel is intended to remain locally owned and operated and managed by a team of experts in the field of hospitality, which will be hopefully employed locally, but it will not be turned over to a management company. It's intended to be, operated as a boutique-style hotel. The developer of this project is wanting to participate in the Mississippi Tourism Rebate Program, which is offered through MDA. And we are here tonight seeking support of this council by resolution for our participation in this program. This program, if you're not familiar with it, provides an incentive to developers of certain new tourism-oriented projects in the state through a rebate of a percentage of the sales tax that would be collected, paid by the customers of the hotel and collected by the applicant as reimbursement for certain eligible costs incurred during the project's development and construction. To participate in the program, the developer must apply to MDA, which will actually have to certify the project and establish the applicant's eligibility under the program. Eligibility is determined by the amount of investment and type of tourism project. There are several types of projects and classifications of tourism-related developments that would qualify under this program, and one being a hotel such as this, which was identified as a full-service hotel, which includes a minimum of 25 guest rooms at an average, or suites, at an average cost of at least $200,000 per room. Amenities such as restaurants, spas, other facilities and features that the MDA may determine is appropriate for the development of the project, and a minimum project cost and private investment of at least $15 million, which will have to be verified through an independent third party selected by MDA, the cost for all of which will be borne by the applicant. The cost that can go into this calculation includes land acquisition, construction of buildings, architecture, design, engineering, pretty much anything into the project. And in addition to the advance approval by MDA, approval will also be needed by either the Mississippi Business Finance Corporation and/or by the Department of Revenue. And again, approval is generally needed by local governing authority just to support our participation in this program. Once approved and the total project costs have been established and verified, a percentage of eligible sales tax collection may be returned or refunded to the applicant each year. The amount of sales tax collected by the developer after making what's called required diversions shall be deposited into a fund, which is the Tourism Project Sales Tax Incentive Fund, which is managed by MDA. The diversions that we're talking about include approximately 2.25% for school ad valorem tax, and then the about a little more 9% toward the Education Enhancement Fund. So it's about 11.25% of the sales tax will still go to fund education. This will not touch the sales tax allocations for education. And as an aside, the 2% Hancock County Hotel and Motel tax that is currently administered by the Board of Supervisors will also not be affected at all. That money will stay there. And after those payments, 80% of the balance of the sales tax collected by the developer and deposited into the fund may be paid biannually as a rebate to the developer. The program provides that participation in the program can be up to 15 years or until such time applicant has recouped 30% of the total project costs whichever occur first. The impact on the city includes the benefits that will be received by the city are multi-tiered, as new businesses of this magnitude tend to impact other businesses and can have a ripple effect on local economies through job creation and through the purchase of goods and services. Such impact and effects can be classified into 3 categories. First of which is direct, and that's just the hiring of employees, wages paid and benefits paid to those employees, and then the purchase of goods and services from local merchants and suppliers here in the community. There's also an indirect impact, and that's the impact on the people with whom the hotel will do business and how their businesses can grow from the increased income and revenues from the project, and that may lead to those businesses actually hiring more employees or expanding their businesses. And then there's a third tier, which is called induced impact, and that's the impact on the local economy when those employees with these new jobs and their money go out into the community and spend their wages on other goods and services from other businesses, and that effect can just continue on. All of these impacts and benefits are summarized and stated in that economic impact analysis from Hancock County, which was done last year, and it was made part of your packet. Now, with regard to the calculations, the math involved here, we've set up 2 examples, and there's spreadsheets at the back of my notes. One is example 1 and example 2. Under example 1, the first section here, it's on page 3 of the outline of my summary here. It shows you for every $1 million in revenue of the hotel, under normal circumstances, usual allocation, there would be $70,000 in sales tax collected on that $1 million. 18.5% of that, in this case, would be $12,950 would be allocated to the city. And then the 11.25% would go to the education funds, and then the balance, which is about 70%, would go into the state treasury. With the incentive, the same revenue, assuming the same revenue, $1 million, $70,000 in tax, and then the required diversions, $0 would remain with the city, and the balance would be allocated 80-20 between the developer and the state. Now, with regard to that, have you note from the prior calculation that the city's anticipated revenue on that type of, or anticipated tax revenue on that type of sales would be $12,950. Now, under item 3, and now this is assuming just 25% occupancy at the hotel, which is grossly under what's been estimated by our consultants, and assuming that for each room night of that 25% occupancy, $200 per room night would be spent locally in the community, which is what we consider that a low figure, and I can get into that in just a minute. That would result in about $1,075,000 in sales just on the expenditures from guests at the hotel. This would generate a little over $75,000 in tax revenue and the 18.5% allocated to the city on those sales would be almost 14,000, which actually exceeds the 12,950 that the city would have expected just on the hotel operations itself. Now, those are some low estimates, and so that's why we generated example number 2, which this is in line with some of our research. We have some pretty detailed research and reports from the CBRE, which is a commercial real estate consulting firm specializing in the hotel industry. Some of that would be deemed proprietary, and we might could discuss that in an executive session if need be, but these are the figures and the averages from those reports that we've compiled. And it's going to start with an annual hotel revenue average estimation over 5 years. Obviously, low on the first year, a little bit higher on year 5, but that's about the average. It works out to sales tax revenue under usual allocation of about 140,000, or sales tax collections rather, 140,000, with revenue to the city being 25.9, and then also the 11.5 to education, and again 7% to the state. Under this program with the incentive, it would be again $2 million in sales, 140 in tax, and $0 to the city because it would be diverted to the fund for rebate to the developer, and again that rebate would be 80/20 to the developer and the state. Now, taking that same report and those estimations, our occupancy rate for the 5 years after development is estimated to, or average is estimated to be 60% annual occupancy rate, which puts us at almost 13,000 room nights per year. Now, with regard to the local spending for each hotel night, the prior example said $200. We feel that's a little low. We've seen some estimates as high as $500. Because that's based on single occupancy. So if you have 2 or 3 people, 4 people in a room, obviously when they go to dinner, they're going to be spending more money. So we put an average in there of about $300 per room night per year, and that results in about $3.8 million in local spending from guests at the hotel. Now, the tax collected on that type of revenue would be just over $270,000. And 18% to the 18.5% to the city is $50,198. And again, I'd refer you back to the 25.9 that the city would expect just from the operation of the hotel without the diversion. So in closing, I just would like to state that this program was developed as a result of Mississippi's commitment to encouraging the development of new businesses which will increase employment of individuals in this state. Mississippi created this program along with other available tax exemptions and rebates and credits as an incentive to encourage developers of projects which are specifically defined by statute, and I do have copies of the statute and some of the information from MDA and the Department of Revenue included in that packet that I handed out, subject to approval by MDA to develop new businesses and invest here in the state. Under this program, the developers of new businesses may receive some economic benefit through these rebates in the short term. However, the long-term economic impact and effects of such new businesses will exponentially benefit the cities and the communities in which they are located. Here, the true benefit to the city of Bay St. Louis and to Hancock County and surrounding communities goes far beyond the sales tax revenue. The developer's participation in this program is actually at no cost to the city. No cost to the city, and the sales, and in addition to the fact that the sales tax revenue to education is not disturbed. And so the economic impact of this development will benefit the city almost immediately upon commencement of construction and likely continue for generations to come. So I thank you for your time this evening and for your support of our participation in this program. So do we have any questions?
Mr. Moffray, about how many people do you think you would employ?
I think we're figured during construction, obviously, 110, 120 people. And I think following construction, about 50 people, I think, at the hotel. And a lot's going to depend on what is actually located on the ground floor. You know, obviously, a restaurant would employ a lot more people than a retail shop or even a bar. But, you know, so it depends on what's located. We're figuring about 50 people employed.
Yeah, and I see this as a tremendous economic engine in the downtown area.
Right.
With just a plethora of jobs and taxes and tax benefits coming to the city from this, because all those people are gonna have to eat, they're gonna wanna shop, so it's just we're really excited about this program.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Marfray, the city will just be missing out on the sale tax until y'all recoup 30% of the cost of what it costs you all to build it. Am I correct?
Or 15 years
Up to
now.
15 years.
15 years.
And as, I don't even know if we ran the numbers on that yet, but the, 30% of the investment is quite an amount. If you look at those examples, we may not ever hit the 30%,
Mhm.
And I don't know, do we have any numbers on that? Not one of the, yeah, we don't have good numbers on that.
But with the rebate, even with the rebate, we are going to actually collect more in taxes and have more.
Right, and that was kind of the purpose of example number one. I mean, it was like
Right.
25% occupancy
Right,
with $1
right.
million in sales.
That's really on
Y'all
the
are
low.
still ahead. I mean, the city would collect more revenue than they would simply on the room itself.
Right.
And that, like I said, that is a grossly underestimated, not 25%.
Exactly. I agree with you.
When we're estimating about 60% occupancy.
With this being said and all, a couple of questions that was asked, the hotel motel tax, whatever, 2%, that's still being paid, they just collect on that.
Because that takes the sales tax on hotel motel, on the lodging to 9%, so that
Right.
2%
That's
just,
2%
it's automatically off
paid.
the top, right? It's not effective.
And this tax is just on the rooms,
No, it would be anything at that development.
okay?
And so, and that would, I guess, include what, food and beverage, and anything but retail, right? But, no retail sales of any, goods and items would be, would go into the sales tax. So any retail activities there, the sales tax would stay here, the 18%, 18.5% would stay here.
Going back to what Mr. Smith said, I mean, this is a huge impact for the city.
Yes.
Feel like people can come and stay and they wake up here, spend their money on their last day instead of across the bay or across the state line, One thing too, just looking at, it looks like the ad valorem on this collected to be around 60,000 a year in that neighborhood, give or take.
Say around 60,000.
About 60,000 on it, just from the building on the ad valorem side of
Yeah.
it. That's not
Yeah.
the trickle down economic impact it'll have on that area.
I think it would be phenomenal. It's something that's sorely needed is in that area. We just don't have the rooms, and this would do, I mean, I could just see, for cruising and all that kind of stuff, y'all would be jam-packed. Yeah.
And just sort of to talk about what the mayor was about, not driving across the bridge, on those room night expenditures, I don't know if you understand exactly what that means, but even on a 2-night stay, it actually is a 3-day impact on spending, because if someone comes in the evening,
Right.
there's gonna be a dinner and a night out or something there, there's gonna be 3 meals on Saturday, shopping, whatever, and then even the shopping and meals on their departure would likely be done here. So even that $300 a day per room night expenditures, for a group of 3 or 4 people, that's pretty low. And so if you start monkeying with those numbers, the sales tax off of that extra, it just grows exponentially.
Right.
So the potential there of keeping people in town, that's sort of what we're anticipating as well.
Yeah, but they would still pay the 2%, they would still pay the regular sales tax on the room. So it has no effect on what the customer's gonna spend.
No, we're talking about, apart from the room rate is fixed, and then when they go out into the community and spend money at other restaurants or bars or Walmart or antique shopping or whatever,
Right.
that, you have no say on that. I mean, that 7% stays.
Right.
The 18.5% of all of that stays here.
So it basically boosts our general fund by a little bit less than a half mil, Yeah, so we'll trade that off for,
Yeah, exactly.
That's guaranteed.
Exactly.
You could look at that being guaranteed, whether they survive or not, as long as that building's there.
And this would bring in approximately, how many visitors per year?
Well, we don't know that.
Right, and that's
so
what.
that's why we
But
put it-
that's what I'm looking at, though, and thinking about that and capitalizing on that, because we would have people come here that would ordinarily not come here and stay here.
And, right, and that's why, and this is, Mr. Coates, he's
Hey,
a
Danny
consultant
Coates.
on
Hey,
the
Mr.
project
Coates.
here.
Hey,
We, and that's why on page 4 there, we talked about room nights,
Yes,
and so that's 12,921 room nights per year based on 60% occupancy.
right.
Now, if it's single occupancy every night in every room, it's 12,921 people.
Yes, that's a lot of people.
But if it's double occupancy.
Exactly,
It's
right.
now 26, almost 26,000.
26,000, yeah,
3 or 4 per room, now you add 30, 40, 50,000 people.
right, exactly.
And so you can't count on 4 people per room every night, but I mean, I don't think that, you know, the draw of I think our research showing that for the business traveler who travels alone, this is not gonna be necessarily, you know, key. It's gonna be the vacationers, the couples, you know. So
Gotcha.
we anticipate what most of those room nights being double occupancy, I think.
And what's the timeline
Yes.
of getting started on this?
well, actually, we had a meeting today with the architect and the general contractor. And we're anticipating and hoping without any hiccups or major delays to start preparing, doing the site work sometime early November. This is predicated upon the planning and zoning is to take roughly 3 to 4 weeks to go over the plans before they actually issue a permit.
Okay.
Of course, if it's expedited and sooner than that, then, you know, we're talking about maybe latter part of October, something like that.
Okay, great.
Okay, what do you need from us? You talked about a resolution?
It'd be just
Yes.
support of the board through a resolution. I think I talked to Heather about that, what, you know, what was needed, and she said she was on that, so.
So you would draft that up for us, Heather? Okay. All right.
And would you, we able to have that for our next meeting? Thank you very much.
Mr. Marfray, I kind of have I think this is a slippery slope, using taxpayer dollars to fund private enterprise. And I'd like to think about this a little bit further. I mean, this is, you know, once you open this door, then more people are gonna come in and say, hey, I wanna fund my enterprise and do this and do that. And I think that, once you get into doing this, it's not gonna be, we're gonna be diverting more taxes to pay for other people's investments.
Right. And but I would just note, I was gonna just note, if you can look at the statute and the requirements of the program, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we are the bottom tier that would even qualify. There's some projects that go into the $40 million, $100 million investment, you know what I'm, so I mean, someone can't come to town and open up $1 million business and get this incentive. Go ahead. If you have something to
Well,
add to that.
the slippery slope is only attached to the hospitality industry. Independent studies have been done by the hospitality industry, and especially in the southeast region. The simplest way to explain it is you give up a penny, and you get back 3.2. That's it. And that's, again, to me, that's a pretty low number. For
Exactly.
every dollar you give up, you're gonna get back $3.2.
Yeah, but the
Only
people are gonna be,
because-
the people are gonna be here anyway. I mean, if they build a hotel.
Not
they're
without
gonna
that
come here.
hotel.
Huh?
Not without that hotel, they're not gonna be there on that corner.
So you're saying if you don't get this, you're not gonna build the hotel?
I'm gonna say that this hotel's already cost in excess of 15 million, which is why it basically qualifies for this program. Remember, MDA put this program out there.
Right, MDA.
You know, Pure Land Company didn't go out to solicit anything new or whatever. This program's been in place for over 15 years.
Right, and MDA, Mr. Nobot needs to know, MDA looks at every dollar that you guys spend. They know, they check everything, all the expenditures have to go through
The
them.
expenditure verified and audited, as well as the sales tax collections each year. There's special filings with
Right.
Department of Revenue.
And this is a program put forth by the state for our benefit. So, I mean, I think we should take advantage of it.
And I will correct myself there, that I think there's a couple of projects in here that qualify at $10 million. That are, and it's in the statute, the code section is part of your packet. But again, this being a $15 million investment, or in excess of $15 million investment, you know, how many are gonna come to town? I guess that's the question.
I wish we had
And
the
I think
problem, wish we had the problem everybody want one every corner. I mean,
That's right.
$15 million investments,
$15 million
we'll take a
investment.
bunch of them, you know, but we're not gonna have that. I'm in support of it. Just,
And, you know, we, as a city, you know, we've got to give some incentives, you know, to invite people to come in and put their business and to build in our city. And I look at it, we're gonna collect the ad valorem taxes. You know, we're talking about 60,000 a year. To get 60 a year, to spark our economy, to hire local people to work.
Yep, that's the big
Um,
thing.
I think, and then what is it, we're giving up, at 25% occupancy, 12,000, 13,000 for 60,000, which is sure. I think that's,
That's a fair trade.
One of the things also, we're probably the only city not giving incentives, some type of incentive package along the coast. You know, Gulfport's huge, down there, Waveland's got incentive packages going on, Long Beach, everybody else, you know, we're one of the only one that does not have one set up through the city itself, even though this is through MDA and everybody, the state and all, you know, it still can affect us also, you know, with what's going on. You know, I think it's there, I think it's something that could be taken advantage of for us and the developers to get people to come in and to help develop. That's also in that other area that you know, maybe grants out there for, but I think we need to take advantage of these situations when they come around.
And gentlemen, for the most part, and I don't speak for everybody, but I think most of this august body supports you and will do everything we can to help you.
We appreciate that. And just whenever this will be put to vote, we'll make ourselves available to be here that night as well. Is there any other questions that the council may have?
We'll try to get
I think,
distracted.
I think this is gonna be a very good trade-off. And you know, the reason it's put out there is to invite large investment in small places like Bay St. Louis. And if we don't get some large investment in large businesses and start building a better tax base, then we have to keep raising mills every year in order to get more out of our citizens to pay for services. So,
Right.
you know, I think this is one of those incentive-based deals that they put out to try to get us a lot more in our pocket as a city than we would just get if we had that one little hit of that, just the hotel portion of the tax. You know, 12, 13,000, 25,000, depending on occupancy. You know, just that ad valorem itself is gonna, you know, 70,000, I don't even know what that is, 6 times.
Yeah, it's something you gotta weigh, you know, something that's guaranteed, something you're playing with. As time goes, they both will go up, hopefully. You know, that would benefit everyone.
Absolutely.
Danny, with NBA, what is the timeline with them to get this? You know, you saying November, you know, you'd like to get kicked off sometime around the 1st of November.
Well,
What is the process with MDA to get them going?
we cannot go to MDA until the council passes a resolution.
Right.
Once you pass a resolution, we submit our application to MDA. Then they turn it over to an independent third party to certify every dollar that's going to be spent on this project. And I can say with confidence that this project should be more than eligible based upon the $15 million threshold, the 200,000 per room, the amount of people it's gonna employ. You know, we're gonna fall into that criteria that MDA requires to be eligible for this program. But
Thank you.
I think it's gonna change the landscape down there too
I do
when that's
too.
completed.
I
I mean,
do
it's
too.
really gonna finish it off nicely. I would like to see a resolution brought back for the next meeting so we can vote on it, and give us time to put this out to the public too, because it didn't make it onto the agenda for some reason, so.
Yeah.
But I'd like to have it prepared for the next meeting
Ms.
to
Lisa,
come
could you
back.
put that on for our next agenda?
Okay,
Thank
Heather's
you.
gonna work on it, our attorney,
Yeah.
resolution for the next meeting, and, hopefully we can get that passed and get you all going.
Thank
All
you.
right,
thank
Thank
you
you
very
very
much.
much, gentlemen.
Thank you all.
Good evening.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, if anybody's got any questions, you know, let's get with them ahead of time, you know.
Are y'all gonna allow public input before we vote on this?
Well,
No, I mean
well,
for
what we
next
can
week.
do is, we can put public forum before the resolution, prior to the resolution, and, let them,
Just on that.
yeah, just on
Yeah.
that item.
I
I think we need to allow public input before we vote on something that's, on a subject like this.
Yeah, we can do that. Want to do what?
Yeah, we could do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. All right, the consent agenda, we have the cash balance, report. Now, this is the cash balance report for 9/14/2018. Was there a reason that it wasn't 9/18 rather than 9/14?
Well, the date.
Right.
The deadline that I have to put that in, I can't possibly prepare a report today, because we
Okay,
have to put it in for Thursday and Friday of last week.
okay. All right, so the cash balance, and this is a consent agenda, before the docket is $3,213,643.60. After the docket, it's gonna be $2,934,172.18. Also, there is a certification letter that reads, I certify that the funds are available and make the recommendation to approve and pay the following claims docket 9/18/2018-18-033 in the amount of $279,471.42, signed Sissy Gonzalez, the city clerk of the city of Bay St. Louis. Also, there's a payroll batch. Did we get what we requested the other night, the times?
The hours report, no, I tried to get that in by the deadline, but I could not get that custom report written in time. I have it written, however, it left off the hours for salaried employees, so the totals at the bottom did not cross total. So I have it almost completed, but I have not been able to complete it.
Okay, so are you're gonna try to have that on our next payroll report?
Yes, I will, and I'll bring back the hours reports for all the payrolls that have passed on the new system since then, so you can have them all at one time.
Okay, so with this payroll batch, I'm looking for the total on here. I'm gonna have to catch up with this report. There is a, there's a 155,576.66. Is that the total payroll?
That's the total for the gross wages.
That's,
Yes,
okay.
the other columns there are totaling the employer portions like Social Security, Medicare, health insurance, PERS, those types of things. So with benefits all the way across, it's 216,719.67.
Okay, so what we usually do is just get
You'll
the
usually
gross.
read the gross is
Yeah.
normally what you'll usually
So
do.
the gross payroll is $155,576.66. We have a mayor's agenda.
I don't have anything.
Okay, we just had you on the consent agenda.
Yeah, I got
All right.
What that is going to be, Mayor, that's those road abandonments. That's the hearing that we're gonna need to set. So you can just take that under your report. I just think that's a computer glitch that we're trying to get worked out. So I don't think it should have been on the consent agenda. So when you pass the consent agenda, you can just leave that one, just pass A through C.
Because you have several items here under the mayor's agenda.
Yeah, Reverend Reed, they're all, it's 3 different road abandonments as,
So you're gonna put that under his report?
yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, so the consent agenda tonight is the cash balance report, which I've read, the certification letter, which I've read, and the payroll for all other employees. Now, we didn't do Okay, we're gonna do that. Well, I don't see the one employee.
It's item
That's
B.
what now?
Yeah, that won't be on the consent agenda.
That's gonna be under her.
That's a separate,
Okay,
It's actually, it's the,
it's 3B.
yeah, 3B.
okay. All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion?
All right, a motion by Councilman Smith, second by Councilman Hoffman. Any more discussion on the consent agenda?
Just for the minutes to reflect, it's just A, B, C, D is to be moved to the mayor's report.
Correct.
Okay. Good. All right,
That's it.
if there's no more discussion, vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0. Councilman Seal is absent. All right, city clerk, comptroller's report. Sissy?
Do you want to work, do y'all want to approach item A?
Yeah, we can
Yes, we can.
work on down, start at A.
Okay. Now, A is the payroll ordinances that we were asked to bring back. Laying out the salary in the budget side by side with the anticipated salary with the new budget.
Okay.
Now, if you want to take payroll ordinance 633 and discuss that, and if we discuss 634, then that's the one that
Buddy has to.
Buddy will have to leave on 634.
All right.
Yeah, we'll just do 633.
Okay, 633. And we're gonna have to make a motion to approve this, but let me read this first of all. And as I'm reading, Councilman Knobloch, this what you was requesting is attached to this ordinance. Like we had it last year.
Oh, yeah, this is a payroll ordinance, and it will replace the one. So I think the current payroll ordinance is from 821.
Okay. All right, ordinance number 633-09-2018 is an ordinance of the mayor and the city council of the city of Bay St. Louis adopting salary schedule, establishing salary compensation for officers, employees, and open positions of the city of Bay St. Louis. Resolution by the mayor and the city council of the city of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, to amend city ordinance number 632-08-2018 and to adopt a salary schedule and to establish salary compensation for officers, employees, and open positions of the city of Bay St. Louis. Now, this 632 ordinance, what is that? That's, okay, when you say prior,
Okay. That's the prior payroll ordinance that y'all adopted, I want to say in September, with a few minor changes on it. But we need to amend that ordinance, and this is the replacement of that ordinance.
okay, all right. All right, whereas Mississippi Code annotated 21-8-21 2 provides that every officer or employee of the municipality shall receive such a salary of compensation as the council shall by ordinance provide, the payroll ordinance. And whereas Mississippi Code annotated 21-8-21-2 also provides that the salary compensation of all employees of such municipality shall be fixed by the council from time to time as occasion may demand. And therefore be it ordained by the mayor and the city council of the city of Bay St. Louis that the attached 4-page amended salary ordinance attached hereto as Exhibit A with total estimated salaries and employee benefits of $6,321,639.56 is hereby adopted, establishing the compensation rate for every officer, employee, and open position of the city. And now therefore be it also ordained by the city council that the mayor of the city of Bay St. Louis is hereby authorized to fill any open position as may exist from September 24th, 2018 through September 30th, 2019, with a compensation rate not to exceed that specified amount for that particular position as reflected in the above referenced salary ordinance. And now, therefore, be it also ordained that any and all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Now, therefore, be it also ordained that the ordinance shall be in full force and effect 30 days after the date of passage, except where it should pass unanimously, in which case, for the safety and benefit of the city, it shall go into effect immediately. Now, therefore, be it also ordained that the city clerk, pursuant to Mississippi Code 21-13-11, provide notice of the adoption of the ordinance in the Seacoast Echo for one time. Now, therefore, be it also ordained that the mayor, city clerk, or any of their designees are authorized to take all action, including the revision and administrative forms and procedures to effectuate the intent of this resolution. All right, and there is a salary schedule attached to this ordinance. So is there, before we make a motion, is there any discussion on the ordinance from any of the council?
So basically, showing at the end of the ordinance, compared to what's budgeted for, we still have about $57,466. That's under budget as far as what's being paid out currently that is available for step-up raises or raises if someone were to get certified or a position that's not filled or something of that nature. I don't see necessarily any positions that are not filled that are budgeted, but just couple, yeah, you know, like one's at a rate of $19.95 in the police department, but the budgeted pay could be $20.50. So, you know, there's quite a few as you go down the list that haven't reached that top end. Okay.
So Councilman Hoffman, you came up with about 57,000.
Out to the right at the very end, if you look out to the right, look like on the first page, see towards the bottom that shows the 3,376.33. In that column is basically the difference of the pay for each individual as you go through, if there's a difference. And then at the very end, it shows the total of
57,466. Okay.
as compared to what's budgeted for, so
Right.
it's under budget by that amount currently.
Mayor Farber, you understand what he's stating? Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else from the council?
The only thing that I see that's different from the current payroll ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually increasing by $74,282.20 from the current payroll ordinance to this new payroll ordinance. Overall.
You said there's an increase, Councilman Noble?
Yes, sir. If I look at the payroll ordinance dated, 9, I'm sorry, if I look at the one,
I think he's looking at a prior one from last year.
yeah, 821, so it's in the reverse. So it's actually, 74,000 less. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
It's actually less.
All right, need a motion to, adopt this ordinance.
Motion?
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Councilman Smith and second by Councilman DeSalvo. Ms. Heather, is there any more wording, that we need to put in this here? Okay, all right, if there's no more discussion by the council, let's vote the motion. Okay, motion carries 6-0. Again, Councilman Seal, is absent.
One last question. On this new payroll ordinance that goes into effect October 1st, all this pay goes into effect on October 1st?
The actual date, effective date is September 24th, which is our start of our work week of our first October payroll.
Okay, and so then later on, when somebody meets a, probationary period, then they have it budgeted in here, then they can get, some additional money for training or whatever. So this 2018-19 goes into effect September?
September 24th, the column here would go into effect on that date of the work week.
Okay.
Yes.
Because when it gets paid in October, that's gonna be the first.
That'll be our first fiscal cash
Pay a
payroll
week in arrears.
for the budget. Yeah, we pay a week in arrears. We have a week, actually have 2 weeks in arrears. And then, of course, like Gary was saying, any further changes would then have to be, this payroll ordinance have to be brought back.
Right.
With an individual going up if they had a certification or a fireman got certified or that type of thing. Yeah.
It's like, coming in, you in any other position too, they can come in at less and then after their probation period, move them up, to wherever they choose.
All
So
right.
here's the copies here, and we need this.
What's that now?
These are the actual this is the other one, this is the second one, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have it, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah, we all have.
We got it.
Let's do the payroll for the individual. I'm gonna send them stuff out.
I think they did 6-0. Y'all voted 6-0?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And the next one would be 634 for one person.
Well, we're gonna do the payroll first. Well,
No. Do 634 then.
It's the,
well, it's an individual
Yes, sir.
payroll,
but
and then we'll do the adoption of the, then we'll adopt.
Okay.
Okay. All right, just need to make a motion to approve.
motion to approve the payroll for the individual.
You wanna read that ordinance number, Jeffrey? Just the ordinance number?
It's actually just the
Just the
payroll
payroll.
for this time.
And then we'll do the,
Then we'll do the ordinance.
Second.
all right, it's in the amount of $1,383.66,
And that's dated.
dated,
9/14.
Yeah,
9/14/2018. Okay?
Motion to
There's a
approve that.
motion to approve by Councilman Hoffman, second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion? Let's vote the motion. Motion passes 5-0. Councilman Zimmerman is out the room. Councilman Seal is absent. All right, come on.
We still gotta
Well,
vote
we
this.
still gotta stay out.
Yeah.
So we gotta vote to approve.
All right.
Now we have,
This is the resolution for the individual. It says an ordinance number 634-09-2018. It's an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Bay St. Louis adopting salary schedule, establishing salary compensation for one employee only, for officers, employees, and open position of the city of Bay St. Louis. This resolution by the mayor and the city council of the city of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, to amend city ordinance number 632-08-2018 for one employee only, and to adopt a salary schedule, and to establish salary compensation for officers, employees, and the open positions of the city of Bay St. Louis. Whereas Mississippi Code annotated 21-8-21-2 provides that every officer or employee of the municipality shall receive such a salary of compensation as the council shall by ordinance provide, payroll ordinance. And whereas Mississippi Code annotated 21-8-21-2 also provides that the salary compensation of all employees of such municipality shall be fixed by the council from time to time as occasion may demand, and therefore be it ordained by the mayor and the city council of the city of Bay St. Louis that the attached one-page amended salary ordinance attached hereto as Exhibit A with a total estimated salaries and employee benefits of $51,996.01 is hereby adopted, establishing the compensation rate for every officer, employee, and open position of the city. And now, therefore, be it also ordained by the city council that the mayor of the city of Bay St. Louis is hereby authorized to fill any open position as may exist from September the 24th, 2018 through September 30th, 2019 with a compensation rate not to exceed that specified amount for that particular position as reflected in the above referenced salary ordinance. And now therefore be it also ordained that any and all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed. Now therefore be it also ordained that the ordinance shall be in full force and effective 30 days after the date of passage, except where it should pass unanimously, in which case, for the safety and benefit of the city, it shall go into effect immediately. Now therefore be it also ordained that the city clerk pursuant to Mississippi Code 21-13-11 provide notice of the adoption of the ordinance in the Seacoast Echo for one time. Now therefore be it also ordained that the mayor, city clerk, and any of their designees are authorized to take all action, including the revision and administrative forms and procedures to effectuate the intent of this resolution. All right. So is there any discussion on this ordinance? There's no discussion, need a motion to adopt it?
motion?
Motion by Councilman Smith, second by Councilman DeSalvo. No discussion, vote the motion. Motion passes 5-0. Councilman Zimmerman is out of the room. Councilman Sill is absent. All right, the docket.
Don't mess with him too much.
All right, the docket for 9/18/2018 on page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Now, with the library system, do we have any more payments due them, or just the last one?
No, we will have another payment due, but it will not be able to be paid until October because that's our next meeting. Because we just got the tax sale money in,
So-
I think on Friday or Monday, we just got the tax sale money in the
So
mail.
October is the last payment?
Well, for this past fiscal year, yes.
Okay.
How much we owe them?
I don't know how much we owe them in particular, but I think the tax sale was around $200,000. So they'll get their percentage of it.
Okay. All right, thank you. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. The Play World, was that for the, splash pad? Play
City
World?
Park. It's-
City Park,
City Park, okay.
for that slide.
So we got everything
that burn
fixed
and
there?
everything.
So everything's,
Yeah, I think they still have to install some of it.
okay. All right. Page 8. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. And we have a total docket of $279,471.42. Need a motion to approve? Motion by Councilman Hoffman,
Second.
second by Councilman Smith. Any discussion? Vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, and, I guess because of the new format, the gaming and sales tax report really could have gone on the consent agenda. So,
Yeah, we don't have to discuss that.
no, it's just a copy that y'all get every month.
I can't read it on this little phone.
I think they need to get you a laptop.
No, I have it, I just,
Okay.
I can't
Could-
get this
Well-
laptop to
And then the
get to it.
payroll hours report, I was not able to complete by the deadline. So I'll bring that back to you on next meeting.
Okay.
Sissy,
Yes,
on the, sales tax,
yes,
the extra we got a few months back,
yes.
could you possibly put that out to the side so it wouldn't skew them averages so much? Because we
Okay.
go from 131 to like 135 or 6, and I think this messed up because we got that 30 or 40,000.
I think it's 33, wasn't it?
Yeah,
36.
36, so yeah, if we just put that out to the side, it'll kind of keep our averages more in line with
Okay.
true numbers.
Okay,
Thank you.
I will.
Okay, ordinances, I think we took care of that, right? And no more discussion on ordinances, are there?
yeah, well, yeah, we were supposed to talk about moving the drainage to public, to building department. Drainage inspections
Okay,
for the Ward 6 area.
5 and 6.
Mhm.
Can we put that together for next meeting?
Yeah, we can do that.
okay.
We want to take that away.
Yeah, we wanna take it away from
Public Works and
drainage.
Put it
Into building department.
So taking it away from Public Works.
Yes.
Yes, because when the inspector goes out,
Mhm.
they don't know to look for the drainage things, and then it gets missed, so, in wards, that they don't put the swale on side of the houses, and that water just doesn't get to the bayous, the drainage.
Okay. All right, any more discussion on the ordinances? If not, we have a public forum. We have, David Wells.
Thank you, Mr. President. David Wells, Ward 6. I understand, and I think it's on the agenda tonight later on, but I have another meeting to go to, so I wanted to speak at the first public forum about the Bice O'Shera lawsuit. I understand that the city lost that lawsuit, and if it's a matter of public record yet, what was the settlement plus attorney fees? Is that known, or is that a matter of public record yet, or not?
No, it's
Would you
not,
like for me to speak on this?
yes.
Yeah. This actually will not be brought up tonight. I have not gotten the settlement arrangement yet. So none of this is public record at this point, and I definitely would not use the term lost because this was a settlement agreement that that is being, negotiated.
Okay.
Okay, well, I don't know if it was a settlement or a loss or whatever, but I know they went to court, what, 4.5 days, so. Okay, I guess I'll just come back later on when, maybe I can find out some information.
Okay.
One other comment I'd like to make, I had asked for a list of lawsuits the city had pending, and the mayor gave me that, and I want to thank the mayor for giving me that list. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wells.
Thank you.
Next one for public forum is John Allman.
Good evening, I'm John Oman, I live at on DeMont Avenue. I see that the second annual night out is on the agenda again, probably about old business. And I'm sure everybody knows it was an outstanding success last year. I expect it will be again. After the gentleman spoke at the last meeting, Ernest Taylor, I spoke to him about some concerns about parking at the depot, because on the previous event that I attended there, in the depot grounds itself, there were cars parked on the roots of the live oak trees, and just very detrimental to them. At LSU now on game days, football game days, they're very diligent, downright ruthless about people parking on the roots of their trees, and it is very dangerous. Now, Mr. Taylor seems to have an excellent plan for preventing a problem on there, and I'm sure his connection with the police department will make sure that's followed up. I have no idea what can be done south of Blaze Avenue. I don't know where right-of-way is, St. Stanislaus property or anything else, but somebody might give some consideration to that, how to protect those trees. But the thing I just wanted to say is try to emphasize that when a permit is given for that location, that it be emphasized to the permit holder that they're responsible to keep that off, and then see that it's followed up on by the police department. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Allman. All right, code enforcement report. All right. All right, engineers report.
Good evening. I have a couple of updates.
Just state your name for the record.
I'm sorry, Jason Kenichi. I'm here to provide the engineering report. We do have a couple of requests tonight for some approvals for some projects. So we'll go into those later on our report. But for the most part, the first item is on the seminary sinkholes. We reported last week that project is substantially completed. We're working with Public Works on getting that site cleaned up and getting the backfill material brought to that site to finish grading and level everything off. We do recommend videoing the segment of pipe under Ruella or between the sinkhole that was repaired and the intersection of Ruella and Seminary Drive. In order to do that, we do need to clean out a portion of that ditch going towards Highway 90, so that it'll continue to drain. I don't know if that was something, Mayor, that we had discussed earlier this week about trying to get that area cleaned out.
Yeah, I think he's got just an estimate roughly, what is it, 2,000 feet? No, how far is it?
It's about 500 feet of ditch
500 feet, 10,
through the
12
woods.
foot wide, to go through that, clean it out, put a right of way through there so we can get in there and start upkeeping it. That's to do away with the trees, all the scrub bushes and everything in there.
Is that on the seminary property, or is that where?
It is on the seminary. We'd have to have approval, say we're going along with everything. Don't see where that's gonna be a problem. I think the cost was somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000 to have this done. And we'd like to move forward, that would allow also into the future to keep that drain open all the way to the highway out there, where it crosses over, comes through there.
So is that an add-on? Is that a change order or anything, or?
That would be an add-on, something extra.
It'll be an additional cost.
Okay, do we have the amount of that additional cost?
We haven't received formal quotes yet. We estimated the cost to be about $2,000 to clean through the woods. It's about 500 feet that we'd have to clear, about 12 feet wide, so the city could then come back and clean out that ditch so that it'll
So we
drain.
can't take any action until we have the quotes.
But we could solicit, but it's less
Right, I
than,
mean,
yeah.
we're not,
We just need some direction if we wanted to receive quotes or how the council wanted to proceed.
I think we should receive quotes on it and get that done, you know, I mean, we've done so much
Mhm.
so far, I think we need to complete the project as it needs to be done.
Yeah, we have about 1.5 feet of fall between the end of the pipe that's been recently installed and the culvert that crosses Highway 90. So there's plenty of fall through there for it to drain adequately. It's just that section of ditch is plugged up and overgrown, and it's really not draining through there. So that's what we recommend.
And y'all gonna x-ray it before you pay the contractor and make sure that everything's set right?
I'm sorry?
You're gonna send the camera through that section and make sure it's settled
We
correctly?
can TV that, yes, sir. We have to get it to drain so that the inspection will be adequate once we send the camera through there. So that's why we want to clear it first so that it'll drain, and then we can come back and schedule the cleaning, the TV in.
And where we're gonna get that $2,000 from?
It'll be available just out of the general fund, out of Public Works,
Out the utility fund?
out of Public Works.
Public Works? Okay. All right.
Need a
Well,
motion?
It's pleasure. Pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, we need a motion to solicit bids or just to,
Authorize Jason to go out for.
Yeah, we would just receive quotes,
Just quotes on it.
quote,
2 quotes.
I'll make a motion to authorize Jason or Mr. Shinichi's engineer to receive quotes on that project, portion of the project.
All right, there's a motion by Councilman Hoffman to authorize our city engineer, Mr. Kenichi, to receive quotes on the cleaning of the ditch, about, what was it? 500 feet at the seminary.
Second.
Second by Councilman Zimmerman. Any more discussion?
Is this motion also gonna include them to just go ahead, the authorization to engage the low bid or the low quote, or will it have to come back to us? I mean, or y'all want permission just to proceed when you get the
Yeah,
quotes
we
in?
would like to proceed with it to save time.
Okay, that's what I thought, I mean,
Include that in.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Ms. Hedges, do we need to make 2 motions for that, or just,
You don't have to.
I'll amend my motion to include authorization to proceed, assuming the quotes don't come back any higher than $2,200.
okay? Councilman Hoffman
10% window of play.
have amended his motion to not only get the quotes, but to proceed as long as the amount don't come back over to $2,200. Councilman Zimmerman
Second that
have
motion.
amended his motion also.
okay.
Any more discussion?
No.
Let's vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0.
Jason, can you give us a timeline on the cleanup and backfill of the seminary property? And then also, are we gonna put any sod or any kind of planting down to keep that mud from just running out of there again?
Yes, sir. So what the plan is to seed it, and we can put some erosion control blanket down to keep the material from washing out, as you said. From a timing standpoint, I know the city's doing some ditch cleaning throughout the city in different areas. And I think they're
What's that?
stockpiling that material to eventually be brought to the seminary site to backfill it
Okay.
and
Great.
do all the final grading.
Todd Flicker just said he didn't want it to take another year for the cleanup.
That's right.
Yeah, it looks awful.
Yep.
We had a huge rain right after it was done, it was pain.
Okay, thank you. The next item, we did discuss last week about the sewer line crossing from Sunset down to the retirement home on Dunbar. We did confirm with Public Works that a section of that was replaced after Hurricane Katrina, so it's a PVC pipe section. So that cut about 700 feet off of that segment of pipe that needs to be cleaned and lined. So we're proceeding with the field work to get the inverts and prepare the construction documents for that section. We should have those ready within a couple of weeks to receive quotes or bid out, whatever the process we have to go through.
So we might come under budget.
We should, yeah, we should. Taking 700 feet out ought to save us, I estimate about $30,000 to $40,000 off the cost of that project.
Good, that'll pay for the $2,200 we just lost.
The next item, we do have an official notice to proceed on the Carroll Avenue Safe Routes project. That's to September 24th, so they're planning to start on that on Monday. That'll take a little more than a month to finish that. They have 38 days for the work, but looking at their schedule, they ought to be finished within about 30 days, weather permitting. We do have some updated costs in our report tonight for the council to review regarding the ongoing drainage master plan or study that we've been looking at citywide. These are the updated costs that I've discussed last month or last week that were not in our report last week. They're in our report this week for you guys to look at. And if you have any questions, let me know. We did try to keep it broken down between wards so you have an idea of what the needs were in each ward. We do have a meeting with MDOT scheduled for this week to go over the Highway 90 improvements that were recommended and Highway 603 improvements. They consider those maintenance items, so we're going to talk to them about trying to get those worked into their maintenance schedule for those improvements.
Jason, on some of the, I was looking at some of those MDOT and the way they're they're digging into the streets and people's properties. Man, they gonna have a remedy for that?
Yeah, that was one of the discussions we had with the contractor this week, was to come in and clean, regrade, and get all the trenches backfilled and seeded so that the grass will start growing and the property be maintained again. So we discussed that with the contractor. We do have, the next item we discussed last week, some of the railroad crossings. We have 5 or 6 that we looked at. We estimate about $13,000 to come in and repair those 6 crossings. 12,800 was our exact estimate. It looks like to be about 160 tons and estimated $8 per ton. That's the county rate that they just received quotes on. I don't know how that system's worked out as far as what minimum type repair the county contractor set up on. I know there's a minimum tonnage that their contractor has to have before they can come out. Another thought was to look at, again, soliciting quotes for those repairs if the council wanted to. We have not heard back from CSX. Like I mentioned, we have requested that they come out and at least inspect it and look at it with us, but we have not heard back from anyone at CSX today yet.
This is a project we want to move on,
Yeah.
as soon as possible for the safety reasons of it, going across. By the time we get this together, maybe some final quotes, if we hadn't heard back from them, I think we can just move forward. We tried to reach out to them and everything, and no response, and we would like to move forward on this project.
So you need some action, motion to move forward? Because it looked like on Washington, as you cross the track, you all patched that hole.
They have, but it still probably needs to widen out a little bit and fill them shoulders up in there also.
Okay.
We probably haven't, we can get the shoulder material in if we don't have enough of that now.
Okay. So you need a motion on this here, and where
Jason,
are we
feel
gonna get the money?
Yeah, I think so. We could solicit quotes, same thing as before. We could
Yeah.
authorize us to solicit 2 quotes from asphalt contractors to come in and make those repairs.
We can take that out the road and bridge account too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull them up.
Okay.
Yeah. I would make the motion to proceed with that just for safety because they'll be pointing back at us real quick if something happened
It
there.
is, and
So.
they're very narrow and dangerous with I would think a small car.
Oh, yeah.
Ground could get stuck on it, if they go off that side.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, I tried to cross this morning with a school bus going the other way, and I don't know how we both made it, but
Yeah.
we made it
Jason.
through there.
Did you check on that asphalt repair over there by the school board on Second?
Not in the past week.
Okay, if you'd just double check it, but that gentleman was, oh shoot, if I didn't,
Where's that at?
the one that was next to the school board.
On Second Street, 200 block of
I
Second.
got his name here.
Yeah, I've got his information. He was gonna be one I'd contacted
Yeah,
to get
Williams
quotes from.
Asphalt.
On the right of way on side, Second Street.
The only cut that I know on Second Street is, right past Carroll, coming from Almond, Carroll, and then heading towards Main Street, there's, just rocks in that cut.
This is right
Everything
there on
else has
Second
been
Street, on
repaired.
State Street, in the,
Second State, yeah.
yeah, on the parking lot right there.
I mean, it's been done. I know it's been done.
I just wanna make sure that was done to your specifications, Jason.
Yes, sir. I'll check. I'll look at it tomorrow.
Okay, here's a motion by Councilman DeSalvo to go ahead and move forward with this project, taking the money out of well, to solicit quotes and then to proceed. Do you want to put a cap on that, Councilman?
$13,000 cap.
Okay.
Yeah.
$13,000 cap, getting the money out of the road and bridge fund, second by Councilman Smith.
The
Any
coun-
more discussion?
the council will need to accept the low quote
Mhm.
of anything over $5,000.
Okay,
So,
Isn't
So-
that correct,
Mhm.
Yes.
Heather?
So we need to bring that back.
yeah.
Over 5,000.
Yeah, especially if there's gonna be any sort of contract involved. I mean, theoretically speaking, I think y'all could give Jason, or I guess the mayor, the authority to accept a not to exceed amount, or you can just bring it back.
Yeah, we can have them back for the first meeting in October. That
That'd
should
be
be
Yeah, so if
fine.
it's not gonna delay anything,
Yeah.
that's the cleaner process to take.
and one little spot, if you wanna look at it, would be great. Chapman and the soccer field road, there's a strip probably 5 foot wide, that if we can get that same guy that did down there to do it or something, I mean, that one strip just stays muddy, rocks keep coming out all over the road. We just need to pave that one little strip right there at the end of that. I think it would help a lot for that park and everything that's right there. I mean, that's just a
Hold a
messy
little bit of
spot.
water, too.
Yeah, you're talking
Yeah, it
about that
holds a
big
lot of
hole that's
water.
always there?
Yeah.
That's been there for years.
Yeah,
Talking
I
about the
mean,
north end?
and yeah, you got
Mhm.
asphalt
Chapman.
road and you got concrete, but there's just nothing between them 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah.
It's just
And it can't
rocks.
keep materials in it.
We need to grade that out.
We
to
go
the-
down here,
Okay.
we just as well take a look at those bad holes in the middle of the soccer road. I was thinking try to get the county to do it during their paving project, but it needs to be dug out, some good material put in it, and some limestone compacted.
So
And it's just two small areas, maybe, I'm just guessing, maybe 400 or 500 square feet.
Yeah, probably
It's
that.
not really that big. But it's not just gonna be overlaying it, they're gonna have to get the bad material out.
If you bring proposals back, I would just say if we could add them 2 in there,
Yeah.
just to look at the cost, to see what we want to do with
The
it.
first motion,
Yeah, okay.
that we gotta bring it back if it's over $5,000. So what, we just wanna word it that just bring back the quotes, or go ahead and
Yes.
authorize the mayor to take the lowest bid.
Bring back the quote.
Bring that.
Yeah,
Jeffrey,
no.
what if
Okay.
we bid each section separately?
Mhm.
If we bid each one separately, then it would probably bring the cost down per thing, per
You're
project.
talking about Webb Street, St. Charles, Valentine.
Yeah, if you group them all together, then you'll probably exceed your 10,000 or
You
the
can't-
$5,000
Well,
threshold.
you can't, I mean, if
You
this
can't-
is all
can't
one
do that
project,
either.
you
It's one
can't break
project?
it.
Okay.
You
So-
can't purposefully,
Yeah.
break up a
Circum-
project if you
circumvent
plan
that.
on doing a project.
Okay. So Councilman, you wanna reword your,
I don't think he needs a motion at
That's
this
what I don't-
point, do you? To go out and get the bids, or
Get
do you?
quotes.
To get quotes, I don't
Okay.
know, I don't see
Yeah,
any
just
reason,
give
you can
'em-
just bring back 2 quotes at the, or 3, 4, however many
Yeah.
you get at the
We'll
next
solicit
meeting, y'all
multiple
can
quotes and
accept
bring
one.
them back.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I just.
But we want to add the street at the end of, the north end of, isn't it
Chapman.
Reserve Street?
Reserve Street, we have
And then the
Reserve and
base
Chapman.
repairs along Reserve Street.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know why they didn't do that little spot when they did the road right there a couple of years ago.
okay, so Councilman, DeSalvo takes his motion back. and
Yeah, I
Councilman
rescind the motion.
Can you reread the motion?
No motion.
Withdraw the motion.
Can I ask one more question about the seminary job?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know there was a lot of concern, obviously, about the trees that are there, the live oaks. And it seems like the contractor, I guess, kind of dropped the ball and parked equipment on the roots and right next to the trees and kind of all over the place. Do we have anything in our contracts that require them to kind of, give a wide berth to those trees as needed? I mean, obviously, if the pipe's going right through it, we gotta do what we need to do to improve the drainage for the city, but, they don't park heavy equipment on the roots and scar up the trees and things like that, that would be very,
I would have to go back and check the specific language in the contract. I mean, there's usually some general language about protecting existing property, the adjacent properties, things like that. I know we did meet with the tree expert before the project started to delineate where we could work and where we couldn't work. And I know there was some dirt that was piled up on some of the tree roots after the job, and I believe Public Works went out there and cleared all that out of the way. But we can check the contract language to see what was in there.
okay. I mean, That just going forward would be something we can watch out for.
All right, the next two items on our list are some approvals that we are requesting. The first item is well, my list doesn't go with this, but we'll go, I guess, with the agenda. We do have a supplemental agreement, number one, which is for engineering on the Highway 90 lighting improvements project. This is funded through MDOT. If you recall, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, MDOT actually required 6 additional lights, existing lights, to be removed and relocated to the outside of the right-of-way. So we had a change order presented to the council, which was approved, and MDOT's approved that change order for the additional boring required, wiring, and lighting for that. At the time, the contractor was not sure if they would have any additional days added on or request any additional days due to delivery of the additional light poles. So now that they do have their schedule for those new light poles that they have to have, they are requesting 5 additional days to be added to their contract. So this is a no-cost change order for the contractor Commercial Electric of Long Beach. So that's their change order number 2 that they are requesting. We're also requesting a supplemental agreement to our engineering contract. This has also been discussed with MDOT as far as additional charges since they changed the original contract requirements. We had additional design time and then also additional RPR time for the inspector to be on site for those additional 5 days. So what we're asking for is approval tonight of supplemental agreement number 1 for engineering. I think it's $5,000 is the total cost on that one. And then we're also asking for approval of change order number 2 for Commercial Electric, which adds 5 additional days to their contract. Both of these have been discussed with MDOT, and I would recommend, if the council does approve those, to add into the motion contingent upon MDOT approval. We will take that approval, submit all the paperwork to MDOT, and we'll have formal approval through the commission.
Okay.
I would recommend, I do think this needs to be 2 motions.
All right.
Right, Jason? That
Yes,
you plan
yeah,
them
2
as
separate
Yeah,
documents.
okay.
I kind of grouped them together with 2 separate documents.
All right, we need a motion for change order number 2 to add 5 additional days to, do we need to state the contractor's name?
You could, Commercial Electric of Long Beach.
Commercial Electrical of Long Beach. Need that motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Hoffman,
Second.
second by Councilman DeSalvo. Any discussion?
Just contingent upon MDOT approval.
Okay.
Be in the motion, please, Lisa.
All
Yes.
right, and, all right, vote the motion. Motion carries 6-0. Need a motion for the supplemental agreement number 1. Engineering is requesting an additional $5,000, and, this is also contingent upon MDOT approval. We need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Councilman DeSalvo,
Second.
second by Councilman, Smith. Vote the motion. Motion carries 6-0.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll get that paperwork over to the mayor this week to sign and get everything submitted to MDOT.
We got a meeting set up on Friday. Not sure if a couple of people might want to sit in if it's confirmed, around 9 o'clock with MDOT, Mr. Kelly Castleberry. Of course, we talked before about them wanting to turn the Bay Bridge over, half to Bay St. Louis, half to Harrison County. Need some discussion on that if one or two wants to sit in and, see what's going on. So, if anybody's interested, we'll send something out tomorrow, once it's confirmed and everything.
Okay.
This Friday.
Friday, so we're trying to get Friday 9 o'clock.
What time is that meeting for the flood maps? That's Friday too, isn't it, this Friday?
I think that was Monday. The one out
Not
at
that
Dennis?
map. No, Hancock Bank Building. No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Is it Friday, 9 too?
I think it's 9 or 10 Friday. Trying to check.
All right, so Mr. Mayor, the one with MDOT is where at and what time?
Trying to get in City Hall, 9 o'clock.
City Hall, 9 o'clock in the office.
That's
Conference room.
discussion of the bridge.
Okay.
Discuss the bridge, turn it over to the bridge to half to Harrison County, half to us.
Okay.
We don't,
What's there gonna be
Is
the
there any benefit
expected
to that
cost?
for us?
so we'll see how
But they're gonna fix all the lights.
They're gonna fix all the lights up top, bottom lights, I'm not sure about. Their thing is, they don't have the people on the funds to do it, which of course, we don't have the
They need a
people on the
special
funds
crane
to do it.
to reach under.
Well, even if we turn it over to Mississippi Power, they don't have that piece of equipment. You know, now they are in talks with Mississippi Power to come through and change everything out to LEDs. You know, I don't know, so, I think it's one of those.
We're gonna be stuck holding the bag on.
All right.
Wouldn't be no benefit. I'd rather not take it.
Whether it's just the lighting or whatever, you know, we'll see come Friday.
Mike, what's the other side of the coin if nobody does take over the bridge? What are they
You
gonna?
know, talking
Go
some
dark?
months back was, you know, if they'll just.
Turn the lights out?
Yes, just stop upkeep.
Have the, will he have a cost of what they paying right now, whatever?
We can come up with that, and Mississippi Power would have an estimate on if they changed out the LEDs like they've done on 90 so far. That's supposed to be brighter light, you know, next, maybe 165 or something like that. They would have a cost estimate for that. And again, whether it's just the lights they turn over, whether, hate to know, would be responsible for the whole bridge entirely. I don't know what their plan is. So,
All right. Anything else, Mr. Kibitz?
We do. We have one more item on the agenda. It has to do with our contract. I believe we submitted a contract renewal for review.
We need a lawyer for this.
Yeah.
That's good.
Good.
Ms. Heather, have you looked through it? And what is your recommendation?
I'm fine with it.
You fine with it? All right.
Sure. We have it broken down into basically three individual scope of work, I guess. Primarily, I work off of a monthly retainer, and on page one, we cover what's included in that. So we basically handle daily operation coordination with Public Works, Building Department, Utility Department, Planning and Zoning Department. We handle your CFM duties, and we also added the Certified Floodplain Management. And then we also added CRS, Community Rating System, those assistants as well. That's for your flood insurance rating. And right now, we're working through MEMA with trying to resolve some issues from the previous CAV visit, where there were some items that need to be addressed. So that's included in our monthly retainer. We're looking to just maintain that with the same rates. We're not looking to have any kind of a rate increase or anything else. That would be all included. The next item would be for any type of internal city projects where we have additional services for surveying or inspection work, things like that, similar to the seminary project. That was an internal city funded project. And so we had an inspector on site. We had some design time associated with that. So we would bill those services separately. And then the third item would be anything outside, any outside funded projects, grant projects, things like that, would be handled via a separate contract, similar to the Tidelands contract that we have right now. We are looking to assist Public Works and the Building Department in doing some scanning of some of their documents, so we can assist with that as well, if that time ever arises for those services to be needed.
How does, is there any difference between the contract you have now and this one here?
The only difference is it's a lot thicker. The last one was about 2 or 3 pages. There's some more language. This is just a standard engineering owner contract. We are requesting a 3-year contract so that we can guarantee to lock in the rates, so that there won't be any rate increases over the next 3 years. In the month,
You don't, but the way that works, and Jason, just for you to be aware, is it doesn't, yes, you can only contract with your term, but then it doesn't necessarily mean, or doesn't mean, that when the next council came into effect, it wouldn't mean that that contract is completely, it's not just wiped out. However, if they wanted to void it or terminate it, they would be able to.
It would just be a
So it
couple
makes it
months
voidable, not void.
Yeah, it would be just a couple months past.
What's the pleasure of the council?
You said you're working on a few issues we had with the CRS program, or
Yeah,
Other
there's,
flood?
right now, there was an open cab visit that, the mayor and I attended a FEMA MAP conference a few months back, and we met with MEMA at that conference.
Okay.
And they advised us of an open cab visit with some potential violations, so we've been working with, members of MEMA and the building department on getting all those resolved.
Okay, so, how far do some of them go back? You got any clue?
I think the last visit was in 2016.
2016. Okay, so, but you're about to get them cleaned up, you think? and
I think so.
taken
We've
care
already gone through, there was 24 potential violations. We've already gone through all the folders.
So,
A lot of it just needs some additional information from the property owners.
yeah, so,
The process would be for us to coordinate with the building department. They'll send out a letter to the property owners advising them of the potential violation and give them so many days to actually make the corrections. And then we can go out and do a follow-up inspection, and then we'll close those out with MEMA.
okay. All right, so, this goes back before you became a floodplain
Yeah, we didn't start
person.
the CFM or CRS till this year.
Okay, so, all right, I just wanted to make sure. All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the council on the contract?
I make a
Could you-
motion to approve
Okay,
And
and
authorize execution.
and authorize execution for a
for 3
three-year
years,
contract.
3-year contract. All right, there's a motion by Councilman DeSalvo to approve and authorize, amen, this 3-year contract for our city engineer Jason Nietzsche. Second by Councilman Smith.
Discussion.
Discussion.
You want to put the amount of the contract per month?
$1,000 per month. I'm sorry. I amend my motion to
All right.
include the $1,000 a month
Councilman
fee.
DeSalvo has amended his motion to include $1,000 a month, and Councilman Smith have amended his. Is there any more discussion? If not, let's vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
That's all I
Appreciate
have.
it.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes,
I enjoy it.
yeah, keep us on track.
We'll try.
You got a job.
Mm-hmm.
For 3 years.
Got a few things to do for y'all, don't I?
Make $1,000 a month.
That's all I had, unless y'all have any other questions.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you, sir.
Good evening. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Okay, council,
We should get a lower price. Our meetings aren't going to 10 o'clock no more.
council new and old business. We just want to remind everybody of the second annual night out. Who have that sheet on what day it's supposed to take place?
Got it pulled up, but I'm trying to see. Doesn't say.
And I think we moved our council meeting, didn't we?
Yes,
October 2nd. Say October the 2nd?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it's gonna take
Right,
place
but the night out is the second.
October the 2nd, and we move our meeting to October the 3rd. Okay? All right, it's gonna take place at the Depot Community Center and the Depot grounds. October the 2nd, was there a time, was 5:30, 6 o'clock?
Look at the window.
Yeah, it's on the door.
But it is gonna be October the 2nd. Chief, you don't know what time, do you?
I want to say about 5:30. Let me check.
Okay. All right, while the chief is gonna check that out, council business, Councilman DeSalvo.
No, I don't have anything.
All right, Councilman Zimmerman.
I'm good.
All right, and night out is gonna be at 5:30, October the 2nd. Okay. Councilman Smith?
Mayor.
Oh.
7th Street. Seventh Street, can we get, those ditches cleaned? Right by the, park,
Yeah,
get them dug out, thank you.
it won't be this week. I got some other ones ahead of it to finish up in some areas, so we'll put them on the list to that. See what Jamie's got available.
Thank you, that's all.
All right, Councilman Hoffman?
I was just gonna say, I saw, saw that we were going and weeding Main Street, everything looked very nice and, starting to look good. But we are missing our street sweeper because they were still out there with the backhoe and shovels and trying to clean up the
It's coming.
sides. So
Yeah.
definitely,
We wish we did have it.
Definitely need-
One thing about,
need modernization. You know.
we'll have, trying to get some inmates, they booked up this week, we'll have something next week hopefully to help up in that area with food and everything also.
Was there no
MDOT should
delivery date in that
hopefully be in
contract?
next week. What's that, Josh?
Was there no delivery date in that acceptance when we accepted that street sweeper? I thought we had one coming a lot quicker, I mean.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I
I mean, it's built to order.
But that's ridiculous. I mean, when you go buy a car lasts.
I don't know if we had anything.
There was no delivery date, formal
Well,
delivery.
and just y'all remember too, that we couldn't actually place that order until we had the financing in place. So when you're remembering things, just, it's not necessarily from when y'all approved it, it's from when the financing was in order, which was like probably a month or so after when you actually approved it. So just keep that in your mind,
Right.
and when you're thinking about
Just
the
moving
budget time.
forward, might be something we want to ask anytime we're buying a piece of equipment or buying something is when to, yes,
If you
Okay.
need it within, 6
Like a
weeks or so.
delivery date by
yeah.
certain.
And that way they can quote you a price that would include expedited delivery or some such schedule.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, so we should have a commitment from MDOT to come do the highway, Monday, Tuesday next week to get it cleaned up.
If you can get the
That's
key,
what-
it's sitting over in Long Beach, been sitting there for months.
Chief?
Driving on that.
Councilman Hoffman?
That's it.
All right. Councilman Knobloch?
I just had a request from a citizen, was inquiring about how the street sweeper will be used. Is there a plan to use it?
Sweep the street. There is a plan, there's possibility of a part-time person maybe, coming back.
That'd be good, yeah.
There's other things being looked at also on a rotation, in areas and doing, they all look, when it gets in here, that'd be something laid out where it'd be used and timetable and everything.
And he also stressed, he would like to see some drainage improvements on Seventh Street near the park.
Okay.
Just making it known. But Larry did a good job.
Appreciate it.
That's all that I had.
All right, thank you, Councilman. All right, Mayor's report?
Yes, vision insurance, wanna put that, changing over, let's see, from vision,
Superior Vision
to vision.
to Unum.
I mean, you only get one eyeglass?
He needs to utilize the vision insurance.
You got it?
All right, from Superior to Unum, effective October 1st, 2018. Got the cost and everything down there. Comparison, copay, everything. Just, cheaper insurance, more access. Seems to be a better plan all the way around.
So we need authorization for the
Yeah.
mayor to enter into the new agreement. Yeah, there's a signature on that.
Oh, they got
Okay.
a nice little list of people they can go to.
Yeah, there's a lot more carriers there than we had on the prior one, plus the cost is less, and the copay is less.
Okay, we need a motion for the mayor to enter into an agreement with, Unum Vision Insurance. Is that
Unum.
what we need?
Motion?
Motion by Councilman Smith,
Second.
second by Councilman Hoffman. Any discussion? Vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0.
One thing I didn't have on this agenda that came in today, we had a wrecked vehicle from one of our employees, got in a wreck some months back. Insurance had put a couple offers, I think we could collect it $7,100 or, no, we collected, $7,100 or $9,500 or something to salvage it. It took a lot to get it back on the road and going. They felt and chose the $9,500 to be better spent on future trucks and everything, instead of trying to spend $7,000 or something to fix this one back up. So, we asked if we can, what we gotta do, salvage this one?
Surplus.
Surplus it,
Mhm.
and collect the, $9,507.30. That's for a 2007 Ford F-150,
And then, what's the VIN number? Do you have the VIN number?
one FTR F12W X7N A83625.
What was that, serial number?
No, but maybe give it to Daphne and Lisa for exhibit.
And Ms. Mayor, you need a motion for,
Yeah,
what?
just to surplus it and collect the insurance proceeds.
All right, need a motion to surplus this vehicle, and this is gonna be exhibit what, Lisa?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm doing
This is
good
gonna
to
be
keep up
exhibit,
in
I'm
here.
not sure.
Yes, exhibit,
All
I'm
right,
not sure.
Motion with exhibit, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Attached.
So, there's a motion by Councilman Hoffman, to authorize the mayor to surplus, to collect, the, money on this vehicle, and we're gonna put it in the general fund?
Correct, that's public works vehicle, right?
Public
Public
Works.
works vehicle,
Are
yes.
y'all gonna go out to buy another vehicle to replace it?
They're gonna look at some auctions and,
Cause I would use that money as a down payment, let's get another truck for them.
yes, well, yeah, I'm not sure they want a new truck, but they, Coastal Electric supposedly has some coming out, maybe a couple of people, couple of
Just
accounts.
something they can drive in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good work, Troy.
All right, again, motion by Councilman Hoffman to surplus this vehicle. Is there-
Second.
Second by Councilman Smith. Any more discussion? Let's vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0.
Just some information, working with Gulf Breeze on a contract, hope to have that for the, first meeting in October. Also heard from the audit, and they're through with the audit. They asked
They're
that-
completing it.
They asked that if next week possibility of 2 to 3, wants to sit down with them ahead of time, just to look at it.
I'll sit down.
I think we're looking at Tuesday, we can do it in the conference room, I know they got P and Z here, we can do it Tuesday, maybe afternoon sometime, see when they're available, see when everybody's available. You know, they want to sit in with it, and then they're presented at, Thursday the 27th, and that way we can, adopt, we can recess our meeting tonight till then, or just call an emergency meeting, special meeting that night.
Okay.
to adopt.
Now, is Tuesday the only day you can sit down with, councilmen, or will they be able to do it throughout the week?
No, he did not indicate which other days he was available, So if we need to talk with him, we could do that tomorrow and maybe email y'all out some alternative times.
Yeah, 'cause I won't be back, I won't be in till Friday
Okay.
of next week.
Oh, so you'll even miss the meeting. If we had a recess meeting, you'd miss that as well.
Right.
So the
The
25th?
deadline is the 30th of September, and that's his only priority, is trying to get it up to the state, FedEx it up to the state, or email it up to them by the 30th.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I can meet on the 25th with him if y'all want. In the evening sometime, you don't know the exact time yet?
Well, it's just open to any of the council that wanna meet with him. They usually
What was the
take
first
us
day,
two-
Tuesday?
Tuesday was the suggested day that he
What-
had,
What date is that?
the
Yeah.
25th.
I'm good on that.
Usually we take you two at a time. You know, and,
And you can, but we can't have more than a quorum, right?
Yeah, you can't have a quorum.
Like, it used to be,
Regardless
it
of-
was used to do, they used to do two like that,
Right.
But now since
since
that,
Columbus.
Kind of a
yeah,
rolling
Columbus
quorum.
opinion with the rolling quorum,
Yeah.
So we can only take 3 max total.
Yeah.
that's correct. Now, you can't discuss it amongst yourselves, so three people went in, you couldn't go call the other 4 and talk about it.
So council, you all could, I guess, get together on who can go in on that Tuesday, at what times. Cause in the past, what they would do, they would just schedule, you know, 2 at a time at 2 o'clock, 2 at 1, 2 at 11. You know, so I guess you all can get your schedules together and,
Just get,
do they
Sissy
with
can
you,
give us the
Sissy, or
times.
who they need to get with?
Yeah, they-
Mayor?
It-
Yes, Sissy.
Yeah, get with me.
Okay.
And we can only have 3, so I guess, do y'all wanna decide which 3 right now
Yeah.
are
I'm good.
available since we're all here?
I'm good.
Tuesday?
Let's just say, they've already given me Tuesday at 5:30 is a good time, so is that a good time for those who wanna participate?
Yes, after hours.
That is
perfect.
planning and zoning night.
We can do it in the conference room in City Hall.
In the conference room at City Hall, but unless y'all have another meeting y'all need to be at.
On the road, so I will not be
Okay,
available.
you'll be out.
Larry, Josh, Buddy?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the 3, 5:30 on Tuesday. We all good?
Yep.
Okay, okay, we'll set it up.
That'll work. Don't ask me no questions.
Huh?
I said, nobody ask me no questions when I get out.
Well, yeah, they can ask the questions in there, but yes. But you'll have an opportunity, I guess, at the Thursday recess meeting, if you're gonna do a recess meeting. Others will have an opportunity Thursday then if they need to ask
Yeah,
questions.
it'd be open for discussion then.
Okay.
Also just, I had one more thing.
Road abandonment.
Utility, road abandonment. We have that on the agenda, 3 of them. I think, Heather, you might wanna touch on this, where we need to head.
So what we're gonna do is have a hearing. I don't necessarily think hearing's required, but I think it's a good idea to do just to make sure, so we can know that none of the surrounding landowners have any issues. And we'll get the city to go ahead and send notices to those surrounding or abutting landowners. Mayor and I are going through these files, trying to figure out exactly, I guess, like the mapping of the situation and, you know, something to think about going forward. It's not in your ordinance now, but a map is required in your ordinance, but it's nothing official. I know a lot of other cities, if somebody wants this, they actually have to provide a survey with a, you know, the plat on it. So just something to think about if y'all would want to amend your ordinance in the future to include that.
What we usually do with, road abandonment is, half of it go to one
That's correct.
person, on one side, half go to the other one.
That's correct.
And who do we notify what, the, people within 300 feet, is that?
You don't actually have any sort of notice type requirements.
Yeah, I would like to see what's being abandoned, you know, some kind of map and,
Same here.
some kind of survey. I would like to see it personally.
Yeah, that's what, and Gene, you may be able to speak to this too, but from a real estate standpoint, I think it would be nice to know exactly what's being abandoned
Right.
for future transactions, because what I don't wanna happen is I don't want these people to, oh, their street's abandoned, and then they go fencing it in and doing all this fancy stuff, and then they go to sell their house in a few years, and it's like, well, wait a second, where's your actual description for this little piece of land? So that's,
We probably need to abandon and then do quitclaim deeds to whoever the adjoining owners are, if that's where the land's gonna go once it's abandoned.
yeah, and the way that I've been working on the resolution, the way I have it framed now is that the resolution actually, kind of the way it does is it works as a quitclaim deed, so it's something they could file. But at this point, even that, I don't have a true legal description
Right.
to
To do that.
have it. Now, I do not think that
And I
the
don't know-
city should
I
pay
don't
for
know if
that.
your dad's gonna accept that as a tax successor either, because he's not gonna know what he's looking at.
That is very true, very true.
He's gonna want a description.
The description of the property. So that's what, my biggest fear is y'all are doing these people a favor to abandon these roads. And so I just don't want them to ever be able to come back on you and say, well, city, you abandoned this road, but now, title attorney X is saying that I don't really have,
Right.
I don't know where my actual abandonment is. So I just think there's some things we could do to clean up the process.
Yes.
And they gotta pay the taxes on there.
Yes. Also,
Yeah, once it's abandoned, yeah.
one of these are from 2013.
Mm-hmm.
That was approved, never did
Never do
finish
get
up.
done.
One's 2016, and the other one is from earlier this year, back in the springtime sometime.
Okay, so, you're gonna bring us something back maybe in the next meeting on this? Are you gonna give them what we want? We want, maybe a survey, legal description, what else? What else will we need?
Well, I guess some of it at this point is up to y'all, because right now it just asked for your ordinance is really, my computer died and we still don't have power back here, so I can't plug it in. But, wait, we have power?
Yeah, we got a strip over here, I'm sorry.
Lisa's holding out on me.
I am.
But the ordinance right now, the way it reads is very vague. It just says a map or a drawing, or it's not clear to where it says a survey. So if it's something that you wanna require now, we can, but these people put in for it and it's not in there now. So y'all kinda tell me, and some of this maybe I just need to pick up the phone and call these people and say, hey, look, here are our concerns, how do you wanna handle it?
Yeah, I would like to, have
Touch
that
base.
survey.
Yeah.
And,
You need to also put in there a sign-off sheet for utilities and drainage.
Yes.
Make sure that the utility crews, make sure there's not any lines on it, or there's not a need to put any lines in there.
Yes, and I know I put something in the resolution about that, basically reserving an access easement for all utility purposes. Do you think that language would cover, I just use the term utility to keep it broad, just to try to make sure that we, had anything that we may need? Very good point.
anything else?
I actually have one more thing. I just had a letter in my box that I just opened. Chief, what is the speed limit on Beach Boulevard? Is it 35 or 25 or?
25.
25 all the way? This lady has written a letter and she just, has said that, there's low speed limits all around town, very practical in the neighborhoods and different things. But she's requesting that we possibly raise Beach Boulevard to 35 or at least in certain places so that, it would
That's a shame.
decrease travel time from place to place and, give a little quicker access to certain things along the beach.
That's just my opinion. I wouldn't be for that with kids crossing the street and everything. That's a scenic route to start with. That's why the highway is 45 going down through there.
Mhm.
Once you cross the bridge and everything, that's just my opinion. I wouldn't be in.
It would also,
Golf carts too.
Just wanted to put that out there. We did receive
Got
a
run
letter
over
with
by
a
a four-wheeler
request.
Sunday on down on the beach.
What's that?
Almost got run over by a four-wheeler Sunday. on the beach road.
They shouldn't be on Beach Road anyway.
Well, let's
Let's say, I don't
discuss.
think that was in our city though, yeah.
It was Waveland.
Like, come on, we need some clarification here.
You hear me, Mike?
Mr. Mayor, anything else?
No, thank y'all.
All right.
One more thing, we were talking about speed limits. Washington Street, we talked about Panashare Lane to Chapman doing 35, and then we put a speed bump about a week later and put 25 speed limit signs up, and somebody called me that got a ticket for doing like 38 the other day and wants to know what's the speed limit. They just confused, because they sat in the meeting, we discussed 35, and now it's 25, and so it's gonna be 25 all the
I
way
thought it was 35 past Bay Marina.
past Bay Marina. I know one time we talked about from Panashare Lane to Chapman, and then we put a speed bump right in front of Miss LaFontaine's house about a week after we had the discussion in here. So, everybody, so it's 25 all the way to the four-way, from 90 to the four-way is 25?
That's
Would
what
that be
The signs. say.
correct? Yeah. So,
Is that done for golf cart access, or was that done prior?
no, this was like a year ago
It
almost.
went up and down.
Yeah, a few times. It's been 35, been 25, and that's what, so,
Honestly,
it's just
yeah,
25.
yes, it has, but it has went back and forth on that.
Yeah, a few times, so, all right.
All right, attorney's report?
As I mentioned earlier, I don't have anything right now for the settlement agreement. What I do have, and I'm apologizing, I'm just getting this to you, but it kind of literally came in the door as I was walking in. And the chief has helped me get this out. This is an agreed order returning seized funds. It's the amount of $2,800.20 that we need to get returned and put on the docket or get authorization to pay. It's a court order, it's kind of sitting out there. And I don't want the judge to get ticked at us, quite frankly.
Is this part of that FBI investigation fund?
It is, which is why I don't wanna go into the details of this. We can go into it in executive session if we needed to discuss the backstory and the investigatory part of this. But just because it's part of that doesn't mean that we can't pay that. So we still need to pay this because it's a court order. So if we don't pay it, we're gonna have to explain to Lisa Dobson why we're not paying. And I have a feeling that will be coming, and the reason I'm kind of rushing this is because I don't know if we have enough time to wait for the next council meeting.
Will this come out of DOJ fund or something?
No.
Where the
Can
fund?
we go into,
Oh, okay, I just didn't know if that's what,
Yeah,
is that
no,
what it
this
went
is-
to?
No, I think it's gonna probably be.
Even though this is still on investigation, you feel like she would order this payment back?
Yeah, because the money,
She already had.
y'all wanna go into executive session?
yes, I'd like to know some more information before. Because some of this is probably before all time. I mean, I'd like to be filled in on it.
All right, if we seize, if we seize the funds,
So we
then
need
the
a
funds are
motion.
somewhere.
We need a motion to go into closed session.
Yeah.
Motion by Mr. Hoffman. Go into closed
Motion
session.
by Mr. Hoffman to go in closed session. Second by, Councilman Smith. Vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0. Now we need a motion.
Motion to go into executive session.
Executive
to discuss
session.
The agreed order returning seized funds
All right.
pending the investigation.
All right, motion by Councilman Hoffman. Second by Councilman Smith. Vote the motion. Motion passes 6-0. We're in executive session.